Hello and welcome to Dice Jesters. My name is Julie.
And my name is Dave.
And we are a merry and whimsical board gaming podcast where we dive deep into games with curious minds and a jester's grin. We feature 10 by 10 challenges where each season we commit to playing 10 games at least 10 times and sometimes much more. Today, we'll be reflecting on our season 4 now that we are about halfway through, so that's super exciting. We'll also be providing an update on Woodcraft and whether or not it will move on to face the trials of the Jester's Gambit.
Cue the trumpets or whatever.
10 by 10. I was giving it pizzazz. Usually, you beat me in the, flashy sound area, so I thought that maybe I could step in and, do some gestury cheer.
There came a time where I wondered, am I overdoing it with
perhaps
all of the music? And then I got in a little bit too deep. I was like, okay, I have this jingle for when something faces the trials of the Jester's Gambit. This one, if it is dismissed at the Fool's Crossing, or and then Long Live the Jester Queen. We've got that. There's all kinds of things. I'm like, okay, well, let's stick to a couple, and I'm good.
Well, something that I find funny is that I still don't know what those noises are because I never hear them. I never hear the final product.
Oh, that's right, because I do the editing.
Yeah, you do that. I used to edit the Dice Jester episodes here, I believe until season 2, right? Because we had done it on my iPad.
Oh, maybe it was just season 1?
Maybe.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and then we transitioned to a computer that was ready to blast off to space. That computer was wild.
My computer machine.
And
do people call it computers anymore? I haven't called it computers since like the 90s. So.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'm from...
Just kidding.
I lived in a rural area, okay? We were behind the time. Because you and I both grew up with like dial-up, and you're like, our age gap is, you wouldn't have had the same technology. And I was like, we did.
That struggle was real, okay?
But no, so I never hear the final product. So I don't know the little jingles, the little sounds. So that's why it's always funny to me too, because we, due to posting or responding on different social media platforms, I've noticed that some people might tell you things about birds for me, and then you'll keep it a secret, and then you'll be like, oh, guess what? And it'll just kind of like make me laugh. And then vice versa. Some people will discuss guinea pigs with me for you.
And then you don't tell me about it.
And then I don't tell you about it until like you discuss it.
I bet there's a massive crowd of people that are reaching out.
Okay, I think you're overdoing it. It's not a massive crowd. Yeah, so season 4. Well, before we get into season 4, did you want to do, I don't know, maybe a little improv 2 question? Do you have one? If you don't have one, I have one.
Oh, okay. I do have one, actually. So you and I have both mentioned several times that we originally, as kids, fell in love with board games through chess. That was something that we both enjoyed doing. And recently, you and I have gone back to continue playing chess together. And my question, you're like, where's the question in this?
No, I was squinting at you because I didn't fall in love with board games. I just played chess.
Well, isn't chess a board game?
Chess is a board game.
So you fell in love with chess. Okay,
I fell in love with solely chess, yes. But what's your question?
So how do you feel now that we've played a lot of games, we've gone back to play chess? Mm-hmm. When we first started playing chess, you psychoanalyzed me.
I did.
What is your experience playing chess with me now in terms of how you psychoanalyze my character, and how does it relate to the playing style that you see me implement when we play games together, like modern tabletop games?
All right. Well, when we first played chess together, I saw that you were a hidden aggressor. So,
ooh, that sounds fancy.
Initially, it looked as if you were very defensive, like you were playing the defense. But the more the game continued, I had noticed, no, he's been aggressive this whole game. It's just been hidden. And so after that game that I, psychoanalyzed you, I had changed it and played a little differently. But if we were to fast forward into today, I know your play style from, as you call it, the modern board games. And in modern board games, when you get psyched out, you lose. When you're distracted, you lose.
Every time.
Every time. It's like a guarantee. So I have made it, I don't know if you would particularly, describe it as fun for you, but it's fun for me. I made it into a fun game to find a way to like psych you out. So anytime there's like a really fast song going that I'm singing along to, I know that psychs you out, right?
It triggers me, that's for sure.
Or like the dancing while I'm moving. That psychs you out.
Especially at a critical moment in the game where it's all coming together. I need to look at the board, figure out what I'm going to do. I need to plan 3 moves ahead. What resources do I have? What do I need to pay for at the end of the turn? What can I do? What can't I do? What bonuses will be triggered? And here you are doing these like really fast, aggressive songs and dancing and stuff. And I'm like, my brain can't compute. It's going to explode.
Yeah, or
what's going on? And then I make a subpar move because I also have this creeping anxiety that escalates where I'm afraid of feeling like I'm making you wait in abnormal time for my turn. And so I get this like, okay, go, like take your turn. So I just do something because I hate making people wait. And then I end up doing something. It's kind of like when we play chess and I'll leave my queen exposed and you swipe it to take the queen. I'm like, what? No.
Why'd you leave her exposed? No, but so this transitions into chess because I had always done the same opening, whether you saw it or not, because I would hide my opening. But after we played the modern board games, I realized, I just got to psych you out, right? And then the whole game's gone in one move.
With chess?
With chess. So I started psyching you out by moving my knight.
With, like, your rook pawn?
Yeah, no.
Who does that?
No, my knight. I move it right.
Your knight, yeah.
So my king's knight, I guess it depends on what side, but the knight to my right, I move it to the right. So it's on the edge of the board as my first move. And you're like, why are you doing that? That makes no sense. And I'm like, oh, it does.
I think some people do that. I don't know that it's as common. I'm not a master at chess.
Okay, fine. Well, then I also move
You win more than I do.
Well, that's because you've been learning up on traditional chess while I play, I don't know, non-traditional chess.
I do like learning about the different strategies and openings and all that kind of stuff. I'm more of like a book learner. I like learning about the theory of chess and everything.
Yeah, so I feel like that also goes hand in hand with how I play board games too, because in chess I always do things weird, but it's within the game, you know? So for board games, I do the same thing. I do things weird, but it's within the rules.
True.
Yeah, I wish people could see the face you're making. You're just like, yes.
It's all very, very true.
So I do that, and then recently, I had also found out that if I quote movies, which, I mean, we really don't watch movies, but from, like, my childhood, and I, like, do it, you're like, wait, what? That was such a bad interpretation of the movie.
It's that slight distraction, and then now my thoughts have gone elsewhere.
Yeah, and you're laughing.
It went from, like, thinking about this turn in fill in the blank, Ginkopolis, to now I'm thinking about Adam Sandler and Waterboy or something.
That was like the devil.
Yeah. Bobby Boucher.
What was it? You had moved, I think we were playing, I don't remember what that game's called, but you had moved the orb or whatever, the crystal ball. I was like, magicians are the devil.
Oh. And yeah, Mysterium. That's what
Mysterium. So it was fun.
Well, thank you for that short,
You're welcome.
but intriguing discussion about my chess style.
Well, speaking of Mysterium, mine is, I don't know, but we're going to talk about Mysterium because I guess it's a co-op game that I enjoyed.
I don't think you realized it was a co-op game until
I didn't know it was a co-op game.
Well, how would you describe it? Like, talk me through your perception of what the game was.
Yes. So it's like Clue, right? Like that's what it is. It's
basically
similar to Clue,
yeah.
But there's somebody who picks the clues. Somebody picks the clues for you, and then you have to decipher what they had chosen as your, outcome. Mm-hmm. And so you go through that journey and you can help others. Yeah. I don't know how to explain this game.
I also can't explain it super well because I didn't learn the rules myself. They were taught to us.
Oh, that's true. But I just know how to like move, and I knew how to like discuss it, so it was fun. I didn't realize it was a co-op game until I was talking to a friend of ours, and I saw that they had posted it on their Instagram page as well. And I was just like, oh, Dave and I just played this game. I really like this game. And then he had responded with, like, it's a co-op game. I believe he said it was his favorite co-op game. And I was like, it's a co-op game? I didn't say that back. But I came to you and I was like, hey, is Mysterium a co-op game? And you were like, yeah, what'd you think it was? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, because the ghost is giving you clues, but then we're all kind of working together to figure out if I place my crystal ball on a person, you can help me and say, I don't think that's right. Like, based on the clue that the ghost gave you, I think it's this postman.
Yeah, it's a postman.
I thought it was
not
like
a
police officer the whole time. We all thought it was a police officer. And then when the ghost could talk, she was like, it's not a police officer. It's like a mail carrier or whatever.
Yeah.
That was probably the funniest moment of the game.
Post thingies. But yeah, I love that game.
It was my second time playing it, and I like it. It's just an enjoyable experience of limited communication. Mm-hmm. But I can see why you didn't know that it was a cooperative game, because you kind of do your own thing in a sense. So you're trying to figure out the clues that you're given. Yeah. But you can help each other out. So it kind of has both of that. But the artwork is really cool too.
Oh,
it kind
of
has that,
artwork.
I don't know if you call it like Victorian type.
Ooh, yes. It has like that haunted mansion.
Haunted mansion.
Love Haunted Mansion.
I love it too.
I know. That's why we're soulmates. You're like, so with that though, the reason that I wanted to just kind of like discuss that game briefly, because I'm sure you're like, you're sure? And I'm like, yes, we will purchase that game because you can play as 2 players. I want that game. I'm going to give you the most unique hints. Anyways, but the reason I bring it up is because we were asked previously. I'm not sure if I ever mentioned it, just because the answer for us would have both been no and there wouldn't have been a deeper discussion for it. But we were asked if we played any co-op games, like together. And technically, we haven't really played any co-op games together. There's been games... We haven't? Right? Huh. Or what games would you consider... I guess I don't know. Unless you count...
Oh, you know what we did play once?
Exit?
Oh, Exit would be one. And then Escape.
That's Legends a co-op
game? Curse of the Temple, where you're rolling the dice in real time and you're trying to move your explorer through the temple and collect the treasures and then get out before the soundtrack ends.
The scary music?
Yes. You have 10 minutes
co-op?
to go. It was.
How?
Because we only won if we both got out. And then there wasn't a winner. There was just us or we all lost. So
I guess I didn't know that. The game gave me so much anxiety, I didn't realize what was going on.
It is anxiety ridden. We don't have that one in our collection, but we've played it before.
Oh, okay. Did we trade it away?
We did, because moving into a new place.
Yes.
And we got a new shelf. Had to downsize because I came with a lot of games.
You did. You had so many totes. I was like, what is this?
Oh my goodness. You just don't think about it. As a board game hobby enthusiast over the years, I've been in the hobby for over 10 years now. 12 years. Over that time, I've acquired a lot of games. And so I had to take a hard look in the mirror and ask myself, are we ever going to play these games? Is this something we're going to do for Dice Jesters? We could do like a 10x10 challenge for it. Am I excited about this? And I got rid of a lot of games. Not that I didn't like them, but I just didn't see it fitting into our preferred style. At the time, I didn't think we would be super into co-op games. And because we had played it and we didn't come back to it, I was like, okay, we're just going to trade this away. It's a little bit light for our taste, but now I'm realizing we like some light games too. So I don't know. Would I keep that today if I still had it? Maybe. It's a lot of fun. But I also traded away things like Ticket to Ride is a classic that I used to have. Emotep is a good one. So there's a lot of good games out there.
Are those co-op?
No. I'm just talking about lighter games. But we do have Lord of the Rings, the card game, with some expansions and stuff. We could get into that sometime.
We do. And I remember when you told me that you played board games and you have this board game collection. I had never seen it. And then when because they were all in boxes, right? And then when we moved in together and you were coming...
I sent you pictures too. No. I was like, look at all these games.
I guess I didn't understand how big the shelf was. But wow, that was a lot. I was just like, oh my goodness.
I felt a little embarrassed.
You could build a castle. But speaking of board games and chess, with how you kind of said like, oh, chess is what got us into board games. I'm like, chess is not what got me into board games. I just like chess. What got me into board games was you on your birthday. at Mock's boarding house.
Which is amazing.
I don't think we ever really talked about our origin story. You're like our origin story. Well, Dice Jesters' origin story.
Well, let's take it back. We'll talk about a little bit of where we came from, and then we can kind of talk a little bit about how season 4 has been going so far.
Okay. Do you want to start? Where did you come from, Dave?
Where did I come from?
You're like from my parents.
How did I get into games? And
Yeah.
then okay. So we just talked about chess. I grew up as a kid loving chess. We played a lot of chess as a kid. Didn't really have anybody to play it with. My uncle taught me. And eventually I lost interest or just didn't play. So over the years, my family did play a lot of board games. Like we'd go camping all the time, and we played Monopoly, Sorry, Scattergories, all those classic family games. I would stay up late at night in my tent with friends playing Monopoly. Like it would last the whole trip. Like that game is long. And so it always been a big part of my life. I always loved it. And then, grew up, went to college and all that. And I played like some Scrabble and some Bananagrams, Speed a little bit.
Oh, I love Speed. Why haven't you played Speed with me?
Because it gives me anxiety. That's why. And when I was in college, I was working briefly at a large retail store. And somebody came in. I was covering in the electronic area. And somebody came by and asked for Settlers of Catan. Mm-hmm. Or Catan, however you pronounce it. And I was like, oh, what's that? Oh, it's a board game. And I walked over to look at the board games, and sure enough, there it was. And there were some expansion packs that went with it and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's so cool that a board game can have expansions, because I also grew up playing computer games. And like my favorite as a kid was Roller Coaster Tycoon. It had all these cool expansion packs you could get for it. And I was like, oh, interesting. So, but that's not how I got into Settlers of Catan. Fast forward a few more years, and I was at a gathering, and somebody asked if I'd played Settlers of Catan before, and it rang a bell, and I remembered it from the store, and I was like, oh, I remember it. I want to try it. So he got it out, taught the game, and at the end of it, I wasn't really quite sure what happened. It was kind of a new experience for me, and I was a little confused, but then I kept thinking about it afterward and wanting to play it again. So then we got together again, played it again. I went out and bought it and got the Seafarers expansion. And then I tried to get friends to play it with me and stuff. And anyway, that kind of got me into thinking, oh, what other games are out there? Because when I went to go buy it, I saw a shelf with all these games that were like Dominion, Carcassonne, all those modern classics. And started watching YouTube videos about reviews of all these games. There are these top 10 lists. And wow, there are so many games out there that I've never heard of. And then that sent me into it. And then I met friends. In particular, there was a guy I worked with who you've met. And he had a gaming group at a local game store and invited me to come. And so I started getting into like heavier, more strategic games and tried to play with family and friends, and then gamer groups and meetups and everything like that. And I found it difficult to, I don't know, I had this fascination with modern board games and played them often enough where I was always in the hobby and I was always acquiring games, but I could never quite dive into a game as deep as I wanted to, because it always entailed teaching the game to new people at the table, which I love teaching. I feel like I'm pretty good at it. It's something I really enjoy doing. I love setting it up and watching people get the rules and sharing the experience with people. But when you have to teach a game every time you play it, you're only getting that surface level entry play to a game. And then it's like, oh, that was fun. Maybe we'll play it again sometime. Most of my games I would play once or twice, and they would just sit on my shelf. And then when you and I got together, and I knew that you would like games based off of your intellectual style and quirky personality. So I just knew that you would
personality. Thank you.
enjoy it. I was like, I'm going to get her to play games. I just know it. And it was this whole elaborate scheme. Like, okay, I'll start with a game. I know that she'll like the artwork and it'll be bright and beautiful, but I know that she's going to enjoy it and quickly want to find, I'll use the word crunchier, meatier games.
This isn't a buffet.
So it's my birthday.
It was your birthday.
It's my birthday. And you asked what I wanted to do. And I said, I want to go play some board games at a cafe. And so first you took me to the DMV.
Why do you have to always start with that?
We sat at the DMV for a few hours, and then we went to Mock's boarding house. And I didn't ask you to pick a game. I got Azul and Dominion off the shelf. Yeah. Or just Azul. We just start with Azul. So I taught that to you, and immediately you were like, we got to play this again. So then we played it like 3 or 4 times back to back. And then you got up and went to go get another game. And I asked you to, I think I gave you a few maybe to choose from. And you came back with Dominion. I knew you liked Yu-Gi-Oh! As a kid. So I was like, oh, we got to try Dominion because it kind of has that trading card game-esque feel. So you came back with that. I taught that to you. I'm pretty sure we played those 2 games that day. And then you're like, this is fun. We should start a podcast.
Well, I said, well, we'll talk about your point of view to completion, and then I'll go from my start to finish.
So then as we were talking through, like the idea came up like, oh, it'd be cool, and I want to get more into this. It would be cool to find a creative way to capture that experience. So it's kind of like our discussion, because you and I I've always joked it would be fun to have a podcast together, because when we started talking, our conversations were so out there and weird, and these random things you could just never possibly imagine we were sitting and talking about for hours. So I just thought it'd be fun to have a podcast together. And then that just seemed like, oh, this could be our creative outlet. That'd be a lot of fun. And then I started thinking about this will be great on multiple levels, because I've always wanted to have somebody where I could play games consistently with and have a chance to revisit ones and not just play it one time. But then I was thinking about, because I consumed board game media for years. And the one thing that stood out to me that I always wished board game podcasts and media channels had a chance to do was 2 things. One would be deep dive into games of further level than just initial impressions, and then revisiting old games, because I noticed that a lot of channels tend to focus on the new hotness of things that come out, like the BGG hotness list and these new releases, and then we have like Essen and Gen Con, and things are always coming out. And I feel like a lot of times we get flooded with constant hotness. And so it's like, okay, I buy a game and play it, and then we're all kind of like on to the next thing. And I was like, I have so many old games that I want to go back and play, so you wouldn't know the difference unless you were old. So this is my chance to go and try some older classics that I've always wanted to try. So thinking about how do we deep dive into it, I had heard of these 10 by 10 challenges that people did. I always wanted to do one. So I was like, I have an idea. We're going to do 10 by 10 challenges, and we'll record episodes where we're talking about our experience with each game. So it'll be this whole deep dive experience. And that's where the idea was born.
Oh, the ending's a little different for me.
Are you about to gaslight me?
No, you're gaslighting me. I don't even know what that word really means, to be honest.
Yeah, he knows.
But anywho, so then for my particular path or journey, I grew up completely different. I didn't learn chess from a family member. Honestly, we didn't even play games at all. I learned chess from this classmate when I was in 3rd grade. He was at a table playing chess by himself, and I went over there and I asked if I could play because I was watching him play. And he said, do you even know how the pieces move? And I said, no. And then he showed me, and then I got beat severely. And then I said, let's do it again. So then that's how I learned how the pieces moved, because I would watch how he moved his pieces and I would mirror him until I figured out how to play them in general. So from there, I played chess, I don't know, here and there if there was somebody to play. Otherwise, it was more so like your classic kid games like Sorry, Candyland. I love Candyland.
Hungry Hippos?
I had Hungry
What about
Hippos.
Cooties, Don't Break the Ice?
I had Don't Break the Ice.
Yeah.
I had Ants in the Pants.
Ants in the Pants.
Ants in the Pants. Like literally your kid games. That's what I had. And I played those about until I was like maybe 10. And then from 10, I didn't play games anymore because I went into sports heavy. So I played traveling basketball, and then I played basketball for school as well. Then in my particular off season, I would coach basketball and just kind of train younger kids that were in grade school.
That's awesome.
I was very competitive. And then...
You still are.
Thank you. Well, through all of that, I have a very unique skill set. You're about to sound like you're John Wick or something, or the guy from Taken. You're like, I don't know any of those. That's fine.
How do you read my mind?
Because your eyes tell me everything.
I just nod and smile.
You're just like, yeah. But my skill set's extremely unique because my childhood, I had found out, is very unique, especially recently when we were playing Mysterium.
Mm-hmm.
And I had said something and the other individuals were like, wait, what? Can you explain that? And then we got another game out and I used the game as pieces to explain something to them. So it's just like interesting because it really shaped kind of my mind and just kind of my mentality for things. Then fast forward to 2 years ago, or no, almost 2 years, coming on 2 years. You and I had gone somewhere, and I'm very artsy and very, I don't know, we're both very creative. And we had found like this wall that had opened into a secret hideaway at a place.
Right.
And I was just like, oh my gosh, how cool would it be if, because you had mentioned like with all of my unique stories that I have talked about with you, you're like, I've never heard anybody have these stories. And then that's when you said, oh, there's so much that we could just record and talk. But we didn't know. We didn't have like a path of what we wanted to record and talk about, you know. There wasn't board games. There wasn't like anything that we specifically dialed into. And so we go to this one place and the wall opens and I was like, oh, we can make like a podcast on all these secret rooms and stuff. And we tried to come up with a name and everything, but it didn't stick. Then fast forward to your birthday, we were playing the game, as you said, and then it was, oh, this could be what the podcast is about, because you had started a little channel way back when, and it's just something that you were like, oh, I just don't have time for it right now. So then
always wanted to do.
Yeah. But then when it came up again, it was like the perfect time. We were both ready. So then Dice Jesters was on its way. It wasn't called Dice Jesters yet.
No.
I was leaning towards Meeple People, but that doesn't
Meeple People? I forgot about that.
I was like, oh, what about Meeple People? And you were like, taken. You were like, I want it to be something different. And then I was just like, huh. And the D and J, you wanted it to be the same thing. That's why it was Meeple People. That's why I came up with Meeple People, because the two, oh, wait, no. Well, there was so many names. We'll have to find the sheet, but they all had the same.
You still have the sheet, do you think?
Probably. I'm a hoarder. Okay. I'm not like a hoarder, but I keep, significant things that have cute little, like our receipts.
Hey, I didn't think I was a hoarder. Then I saw my board game collection. Like, I have a problem.
But you wanted the title of our podcast to have the same letter. So if it was like Jester Jubilations, that's just an example. I can't remember them. But you wanted it to be consistent like that. And
I do that a lot, even my like creative writing and stuff. I use a lot of the same letters.
Yeah. And we couldn't think of anything that we both enjoyed. And in all of this, you had found out that I was a jester because I believe I was unpacking a box that wasn't unpacked for a long time. And while unpacking it, my yearbook was in there. And I jokingly said, no, don't look through that one. And then it became like a thing. Like, why not this one?
What are you hiding in here?
And then I was just all like, well, here, you can look through it. I'll just show you like my class page. And you're like, because the other ones I let you free roam. But that one I was like.
This is the restrictions section of the library.
And you're like, what? You're so cute. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. And you were like, no, it's great. And then we talked about that. And that's what sparked, oh my gosh, well, what can you juggle? And so it was like, oh, the Meeple Jugglers. And you were like, no, that doesn't sound
flow.
Right. And I was like, okay, the Component Clowns or something like that for like the double C's. And you're like, no, that sounds like a joke. And I'm like, this is a joke.
This is a joke. My life is. No, I'm just kidding.
But so we kept going. And I was like, seriously, what's something that you can juggle? And I was like, oh, dice. And I was like, you could juggle dice. Like, they're a decent size. And then you were just like, oh, okay. Would you juggle dice when you were a jester? And I was like, oh my gosh. And then we put it together. It was Dice Jesters. And then after we established it, months later, it was like, oh my gosh. Dice Jesters, DJ, Dave, Julie.
It was meant to be. It was like, I think subconsciously we knew.
Yeah.
That was the right choice to make based on the letters.
Yeah, and we both love it, the Renaissance, Going to
Renaissance fairs,
and it's artsy,
all that kind of.
very like new era type deal.
Exactly. It felt so right. And I think it fits our character and everything. But
I think so too.
Well, I did want to get into, I know we talked about discussing the current state of season 4, but did want to also discuss
like touch base.
So
in our previous episode kind of discussed like, oh, which one's going to enter the Jester's Gambit. And one of the newcomers to, I don't know, withhold the trials or whatever little saying you must have.
Oh, will it face the trials of the Jester's Gambit or be cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return?
And the game that was up for that was Woodcraft.
Correct.
And we played it.
A few times,
yeah. And we had decided that it would be, what did you say? Cast?
Cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return.
Never to return is violent.
Never is a strong word.
Yeah, never is a strong word.
I should go back and re-wordsmith it. We'll keep it for this season. Maybe we'll reconsider for next season.
When you and I first started talking, I was just all like, I don't like to use the word never.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but
so that we're just jumping straight to the conclusion. Do you want to reel it back?
I mean, you can reel it back and talk about kind of what it is, who's it by, how's it go?
Of course, yeah. So Woodcraft is a game by Vladimir Suchy and Ross Arnold. And Vladimir Suchy also designed a couple other games that we played. One being Underwater Cities, which was my favorite game of season 3. Season 3? Was it season? It was the last season,
I think
right?
So, yeah.
Season 3, Underwater Cities. Great.
It was a solid
Fantastic
game, yes.
I loved it. And then he also designed Pulsar 2849, which was
also
it was okay.
Season 3.
It was, we were okay on it. I think we ended up trading that one away, but he has a lot of great designs in his catalog that I've wanted to try. We have a bunch of them on our shelf, and this is one that we haven't played yet. And I was thinking about what game do I want to play next in our Jester's Gambit, the 10x10 challenge. Out of the games that we have of his, I was like, we really like dice games. Mm-hmm. So it just caught my eye. This is the first one I grabbed. Let's do Woodcraft. I've seen a lot of people talk about this game. I've seen pictures everywhere, and I've never played it before. So let's give it a try. So I set the game up, and it took me a good couple to few times reading through the rules. There's a lot of components in the game. It took a lot to punch out, which is fine. Like Feast for Odin was like that. It took me a long time to get everything set up. And then as I was reading through the rules, I was like, this is very, difficult to wrap my head around. But then it seems like there's not a lot of things that are self-explanatory where you're going to have a lot of questions, or one will have a lot of questions as we go through. And but it looks interesting. Like I said, I think this is going to be a game you're going to be really good at. Because I can just take it. If you want me to try to explain the game, I can be the one to take on that honor and duty this time around.
I love how you're like, if I try, but I mean, I could try. They're like,
do you want to try?
No. Okay, so you have these pieces, right? And these pieces are on this like round dial thing. And they're your actions. So you can choose one action per turn, and then somebody has to be responsible for moving up the turn marker. Because if you miss that, you're going to get more than one turn per round, okay? And you don't want to do that. So in the turns, you can construct something, whether that's a tree, a saw, another miscellaneous object, or you can trade a dice, like by selling and then buying 6 dice. You can do multiple things on it. If this is something you're interested in, I'm guessing you're going to read the rules regardless.
Yeah, you can cut the die, you can glue the dice together, you can, what's the word, like where you add a pip value to the dice? I can't remember.
I forgot what it was too.
Splice, you can splice.
Oh yeah, you can splice it. And then in doing so, once you take it, you take that specific turn, and then you move it down the rondelle. Depending on where it is on the rondelle, you might get extra bonuses. So like a blueberry or something. And blueberries are pretty hard to get. They're a pretty resource that you need to have to do certain things. So while you're doing that, you have contracts that you want to fulfill on the side of your player board. Within your player board, there's like this house where your little elves live. I don't know if they're elves, but they're going to be dice elves in this description. So for these dice elves, they collect tools in their attic. And then within their house, they collect other dice elves. I mean, they don't collect each other, but they allow other dice elves to live in there. And the other dice elves contribute to helping you fulfill the contracts for the squirrels. I don't know if that... Honestly, this might be just a really abstract version of the rule book. So you're doing that, and then as you're collecting the contracts, basically whoever fulfills the highest point ones and or the most wins the game. And I believe there's 14 rounds.
14 rounds.
So you get 14 moves because there's only one round One turn per round.
And then there's these income phases between, I think there's like 3 or 4 income phases between rounds in the game.
Yeah.
So what stood out to me initially when I set it up and then after our first play, like that rondel, I thought it was such a cool idea. The action selection mechanism where you pick up a tile, you get to do the action, but then you get the bonus on it of where it comes from. And then potentially a bonus if there's this twisty thing in the middle. It's hard to explain. There's bonuses when you pick it up, you move it down. That's how the flow works. And these pieces move around this rondel and the bonuses change as the game goes by. So I thought that was really cool. And then my initial impression when we played it, it was hard for me to really know because it was a challenging game for us to get through in our first play. It felt kind of convoluted where there was a lot going on. And I was thinking like, okay, I think I'm missing something. This was a learning round. My prediction was we're going to end up liking this game because it'll click after another play or two and then we'll be fine. Like this is going to be a lot of fun. This happened to us in the past.
Yeah.
Like Underwater Cities. Exactly.
Yeah.
And then we played it a couple more times and I started thinking about like, what is it about this game that isn't quite landing with me? And then I was like, oh, it's pretty much a pure contract fulfillment game. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of all you can get points in other ways, but really all you're doing is collecting dice, trying to mitigate those by cutting them into 2 or adding pips to them or gluing them together and doing everything that you can in order to fulfill these contracts that you have on the side of your board that you've collected. And then that gives you points and moves up income tracks and stuff. It's just, I feel like
finding a way to morph your resources into fulfilling contracts.
Exactly, which sounds like it could be fun. We've enjoyed some contract fulfillment type games, but I almost feel like with contract fulfillment games, I want them to be light and easy and quick.
Like Sentry.
That's a good one. A Ticket to Ride is a really good game. That's a contract fulfillment game. We'll play it sometime. It's such a good game.
Isn't it Targi one too?
Not really. Oh, wait.
Because you have the spices.
Oh, the noble, you can purchase the noble cars. I don't know if I call it contract fulfillment.
Yeah, you're right.
Like Splendor is another big one. And I've played a lot of contract fulfillment games. But
ultimately, the reason that this isn't going to the Jester's Gambit, to just cut to the chase. If you want to hear the in-depth, we do still record our first impressions and our first play. We just put it on our Patreon so that in the event that it did make it to the Jester's Gambit,
it's there.
Yeah, the first impressions and the first play is organic. It's never like a recall of how we felt. So we do record that for everything that we do. It's just
some make it, some don't.
Some make it, some don't. And this one just particularly doesn't because we prefer like some game where it feels like we're playing with each other as opposed to playing solo. And we didn't really get that competitive edge or a way to really bother each other in the game.
True. Yeah, the only interaction I can think of is on the rondel. Like you move it and that affects everybody kind of.
Yeah, but you had the ability to use, was it the lantern? Where you could take still something and it could just be something else.
True.
Yeah.
I also feel like contract fulfillment games by nature are just too circumstantial for my taste. Like, oh, I have 2 brown dice and a green dice, and I happen to flip over this contract.
I know, I knew that right away.
I have exactly what it needs, and then I'm able to fulfill that. And like, they're all kind of like that. That's why I like them to be light, because in a light game, you don't really care or notice so much. But when it's weighed down with all of these complex working parts where you are just trying to do all of this, there's a lot of stuff. And then to lead it into just being a contract fulfillment game, this wasn't my style. It wasn't my thing. I feel like it was like that for both of us.
Yeah, I would agree to that. I wanted to affect you more.
You like to play mean.
No, not me. I just like to play with you.
True, I do too. I love to play with you.
Yeah, not just in front of you.
So this will be cast aside at the Fool's Crossing, never to return. And that's okay. Because we're just moving on to the next.
Right.
And
in fact, the next is your birthday present from last year. Okay. Yeah, because remember, I was like, let's do the dice one. Let's keep the dice momentum going.
Do we reveal what it is?
Yeah, we could just reveal what it is.
The White Castle.
The White Castle.
Which I'm excited to play. And I did have this on my birthday list because it has dice in it and it just looks beautiful. Like it's such a cool, it has these bridges in it and everything. So maybe this is the one game I wanted because of the way it looks. I really don't know anything about the game other than it has dice and looks cool. Have you like seen other people playing this game a lot on the gram?
I have it on the gram. I haven't seen gameplay of it. I have seen specifically the bridges with dice, creatively photographed. That's all.
So you're going in with equally no knowledge.
Yes. Well, for all the games, I go in with no knowledge. This one I just knew about.
That's true.
Because I made you pick this.
But you may be slightly biased, but this will be the next game up for the Jester's Gambit. If we end up enjoying it after playing it a few times, we'll at least play it a few times to give it a try.
No, we'll play it 10 times.
Okay, apparently we're locked in this one. There's no
it's locked in, Dave.
There's no out. So we're going to play it at least 10 times.
This one we're playing 10 times.
Like we're playing it 20 times.
You don't have a choice.
Well, thank you for taking the journey with me today back to the beginning origin story.
Oh, of course. And thank you for reminiscing back with me too. And thank you so much for listening to us this week. Be sure to join us next week as we play White Castle 10 times. And if you'd like to listen to how we felt with our first impressions and then first gameplay of Woodcraft, that can be found on our Patreon. Our Patreon is Dice Jesters. If you'd like to email us any game recommendations, you can email them at thedicejesters@gmail.com. We're also on the gram, as Dave calls it, and that is Dice Jesters, and the YouTubes, as I call it, under Dice Jesters as well. So, as always, be sure to play games with the ones you love.